Greetings, Legionus. Arendelft here. So, a lot of stuff been going on. As anyone who has been paying attention recently, I've changed my content up a little bit. I'm just uploading 8-hour-long videos of Diablo content. Of just, Diablo music and with my character there in the background that I've customized a certain way. In areas throughout Diablo that I personally enjoy, with the music set to a certain level, because I usually try to emphasize the ambience over the music. Because honestly, I want to upload those videos because I like the ambience of Diablo. The people who made Diablo 2 did a really good job. Anyway, one of the reasons why I've been doing that, though, is because it's been easier on my mental health. I've been struggling a lot with my mental health recently. I've been going at this for about 10 years now. Like, YouTube. And being an online creator in general. And, my channel, I think I've got well over 300 videos, and I think that includes live streams, which is a fair amount. And I don't think my content is trash. I'll admit some of my content is far more subpar than I intended, but that's definitely my more recent content, in my opinion. Some of my more recent content, anyway. When my ADHD takes over, things definitely get worse. Let me go ahead and give a little bit of context to what you're seeing right here really quick before I move on. This image that you're seeing here, this is actually this is the Nauseam. You know how I've been doing live streams showing, I did a live stream, singular live stream, working on the concept for the Nauseam. This is the artwork I was having commissioned for it. This is it, right here. I have to absolutely admit, it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. What you're seeing, though, here is the Nauseam in turtle mode, all of its guns sheathed behind its armor as it's being fired on in close quarters. The Nauseam is not meant technically to duke it out and win with enemy vessels. It's meant to basically always be able to outrun them. That's why it's technically a dropship, but on the other side of the coin, it's a corvette. It's meant to run blockades, that kind of thing. And I designed it as such. And I gotta say that Spacer, let me go down to the bottom of the screen. Made by Spacer. He did this artwork. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. Oh, geez, just look at the little details of, like, the missiles and whatnot. I think, was that fired by the dropship? Or was it fired by the Nauseam? I can't tell. And then there's these particles going through space around them. I'm not sure what that's about. And then you see the planet below. The more I look at this, the more I'm noticing a few more subtle details here or there. In any case, though, that's just one project that I've been working on. And paying Spacer to do the artwork for me. I'm thinking about taking the channel in a completely different direction. And I'm not sure, if people will want... In other words, for those of you who actually do comment, for those of you who do drop by and talk and actually, give feedback, I would love to hear from you if you have any thoughts on this. I'm thinking about continuing content like uploading the Diablo videos, ambiance, that kind of thing. Ambiance in video games. Because it's content that people really enjoy. I mean, people were verbally telling me on the original video I made over a year ago that they loved it and they wanted me to make more. That's why I'm making more. So if you want to unsubscribe for any reason, Why not leave a comment saying why first? If there's a particular kind of content that you like, say so. I would love to make the content that people enjoy if it's something that I've done and expressed interest in. In any case, especially when I do get feedback. People actively commenting, giving their feedback and opinions on things. It helps. It helps so much. There are not words to emphasize how much that helps when people are willing to do that. It gives me such energy. And honestly, it does help improve my mental health just a little bit. Because when you pour so much of your heart and soul into making works like this, and nobody's particularly interested enough to even comment, it does hurt a little bit. It does. And it takes a toll when you're spending so much energy. Larger content creators have this problem less, because they have such a massive base. They have thousands, tens, hundreds, even over 1 million subscribers. They're going to be swamped with comments on even their smallest videos. They're going to have so much feedback. Now, I don't personally know in their shoes if, what problems I might develop that would hamper me or not. But, different problems than this one. But I know that probably wouldn't be a problem anymore. I probably wouldn't have so much energy depletion and feeling like I'm making content for no reason. That's the main reason why I've ever stopped, because there are large gaps where I stopped making content for months. I think well over a year at some points. And it was painful because you burn so much energy to make this content and there's nothing there. There's no retention, there's no feedback except for little smidges here or there. I was doing the Dark Crusade for a while, something I was passionate about, something I wanted to actually really, really do. The glitch by itself, trying to take that coast, that was a serious blow. Just so annoying. I tried. There was a live stream where almost the entire live stream I was just trying to figure it out for probably at least 2 hours of it. That ate up a lot of energy. There was somebody who was actually trying to help me. I wish I could remember their name. They were awesome though. They eventually determined that the problem was not easily solvable and it was best to just try and bypass it. Necrons take that territory and everything just goes to crap. But anyway, my ADHD is sending me off on tangents again. I wanted to try and stay focused. The reason why I'm making this is the Diablo videos, making those has got me thinking, what if I shifted the channel a little bit towards making content that's about essentially making more stories that, where I've got music playing in the background. I made a few of those videos. People kind of enjoyed them. But then again, you can say that about all of my content. People kind of enjoy all of my content. But nobody really sticks around for all of it, which, I don't blame them. I get a little tired of watching a particular YouTuber. I switch to another one. I think I've got about 200 people that I've subscribed to on YouTube, and I've enjoyed all of their work to one degree or another. But eventually I get a little bit sick of them and I move on to somebody else. And then I binge their content for a while. And you got over 200 people you're subbed to. It's a while before you get back to somebody. And then you just binge their content. For me, that's how it works. So I'm not blaming people. No, I'm straight up not blaming people. But I've also completely forgot what I was talking about because ADHD is fun. Essentially, I'm looking for ways to be able to still put some content out there that won't tax my ADHD brain. I am seeking ways of bypassing it. I am seeking not physical therapy, but a type of chiropractic that's supposed to release on the neck. You see how my neck, my okay, so this is me sitting perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but this is me attempting to sit straight up. My neck doesn't have the proper curve to it. It's supposed to be sitting a little further back. It was worse before. It was worse than this before. My head was sitting about right here or so. And it hurts to even put it right there. And that may have been contributing to a lot of my health problems. And be that the case, I'm currently getting therapy that's already shown results. I just showed you that within a matter of a few weeks, my head is sitting further back where it's supposed to be. Because it was so far forward, it was potentially causing me so many health problems that if this works out, my ADHD could possibly even be reduced a little bit. I have a lot of other health problems that do cause me issues. They could potentially be reduced. And yeah, if that happens, and if I return to some semblance of my old self and I gain more energy, my ADHD is reduced, and heck, if it went back to just being ADD, which is what it was when I was a kid, I would be so excited. I would probably have the energy to make so much more content that I want to make, that the only reason why it wouldn't grow, because I feel like there would be an audience for it out there, is simply because the YouTube algorithm hates creators. But when I say the YouTube algorithm, the algorithm's designed by people, and I could go on a whole spiel about that. But the long story short of it is, I am doing this for my mental health. I'm considering changing the channel's direction because I really want to keep putting content out there. I mean, I'm making a live stream right here with absolutely 0 viewers. And I'm doing that because I enjoy putting content out there, because I enjoy putting something out there. Even if literally nobody, ever comments, which is something that helps a lot, I still want to do that, like desperately so. Anyway, and if Jake ever watches this, she is here.
Hi.
Feejesh just arrived, but
With food.
Oh, with food. She arrives with food, bearing gifts. Thank you, Dovey.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna let that cool down for a bit. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Anyways. So that's a different direction I am thinking about taking the channel. In tandem with that, I am currently doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign where I'm actually the DM, and it's in a sci-fi setting. Because I love sci-fi, I'm passionate about sci-fi, I want to do sci-fi. And my setting is not a jack of all trades by any means, but it's what I make of it. And in my opinion, it's technically slightly more realistic. If you had a galaxy filled with human beings, you would see all kinds of technology from one end to the other. And I'm not talking like in Warhammer 40k where there's the Tau here or blah blah, there's these different racial factions. No, I'm talking about strictly within the Tau. If they weren't, you have a race that isn't just controlled by one dictator who dictates everything, like with the Tau, and then you have Commander Farsight did break off, but with all of this, with all of these factors in mind, I put this out there to tell, essentially speaking, I think there would be a myriad of different kinds of technology. People would wage wars likely in completely different ways, from one end of the galaxy to the other. You have, and in my universe, it is strictly humans. It's a little bit like the Battletech universe in that way. I do not have aliens. Though some people are so genetically changed that even though they're still genetically compatible, they're still genetically identifiable as human. Visually, it's like I can't even tell they're the same race. And there are so many different kinds of technology. There are some factions which emphasize the use of battle mechs for when, attacking a planet. And there are others that view that as stupid, like insanely stupid, and emphasize different kinds of technology. And I like the concept of seeing those two clash. A society that uses battle mechs in priority versus a society that views battle mechs as an idiotic concept, and running down the hypotheticals of who would win in, engagements between those two separate factions. In any case, I'm thinking about, for Dungeons and Dragons, putting out there the stories of it, because the stories have been freaking hilarious. They have been hilarious. I think I am genuinely I won't say I'm a hilarious DM, but hilarious things keep happening. Part of it's because I have some kids in the group. They're younger, more adolescent kids who are just enjoying themselves, who've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, and they're having a blast. They're having an absolute blast, and I'm having a kick there with them. And the weird, stupid crap that happens, I feel like would make great content. Unfortunately, though, I do not have a camera capable of recording said content. I don't have a camera that's capable of doing justice to it, which is something I really, really want. So I may look into seeing how much that would cost, but I think it's like $700 to get a good camera capable of recording that kind of content. And I'm not sure you can live stream from something like that. I think you have to record it and then upload it. Which I'm not saying I wouldn't do. I'm wondering about it, how that would work, how it would go, how we would do it. Because Dungeons and Dragons, I use all of the rules. All of the actual rules of Dungeons and Dragons. The lore is completely changed. But I use all of the rules. Except Charming, maybe. I hate Charming. Every time I, as a character, got charmed in a game of Dungeons and Dragons, it took all the life right out of me. I just felt like it was an insult. I know some people have no problems with that. Some people are like, they act it out, they have fun with it. I have a lot of issues with it playing Dungeons and Dragons. And actually, within the lore of my universe, taking control of someone's mind is actually an incredibly tricky thing to do. You can't brute force it. You can't just cast a spell and make it happen. It's one of the trickiest things that you can do, is try and navigate somebody else's mind and take control of their body and or mind temporarily. That is one of the most stupidly difficult things that you can do. I'm not just talking like high level. The highest, most powerful creature in the galaxy, it's never a simple thing for even them to do. You can't just brute force your way and even to the most simplest of sentient minds. Animals, it's a generally easier thing as long as you don't force them to hurt themselves or something. But with sentient beings, it's an incredibly complex thing that can get you hurt in a hurry if you're not careful about it. So Charming is going to be different within my universe. You can influence people, you can help calm them or bolster their mind or something like that. Or heck, you can cloud their minds and get them confused and angry and things like that if they don't have a strong, disciplined mind. You can do a lot of surface level stuff. But actually straight up taking control, that is intensely, intensely more complicated in my version of Dungeons and in my universe where I'm using the rules of Dungeons and Dragons to be a DM for my players.
I have a question.
What is your question, Fijesh?
So I actually chose Charm Person as one of my first level spells. And so my question is, to make it an actual first level spell within your universe, would it be something more like Fog Mind?
So you can actually fully take control of someone's mind under unique circumstances. One of those is if the person is a weak-minded, malicious person who is seeking to cause you harm. Not well, maybe not necessarily you, but essentially, if you were confronted with a pirate or a brigadier, I don't know, someone of that nature who basically lives their life going from one easy no, I won't necessarily say easy thing to another, but basically they're looking to just live life easily. They're looking their goal one day is to live fat and rich on their own private island, surrounded by scantily clad women and suave men. Yeah, that's their goal one day. And in that kind of circumstance where you encounter beings of that nature, you can actually just dominate their minds much easier than a regular charm person if you come across them. However, in the event that you want to do it with someone else, dominating them, yes, that would be intensely more difficult. Clouding their mind, that's actually a great idea. You'd be able to, you would have to get a feel for the person first, though. In other words, you as a person, you would have to gauge whether or not you could actually, what level can I get away with this person? Are they so strongly disciplined I have no chance of taking control of their mind? Or are they so weak that I could do that? Should I attempt that, or should I simply attempt to cloud their mind? Because you do have to choose a level. Because the moment you attempt to initiate contact with their mind, if they're a disciplined individual, they will sense it. A strong, disciplined individual. However, if they're a weaker individual, you could completely get away with clouding their mind, but then you're kicking yourself going because you've just sensed the discipline of their mind, and you're like, I could have just completely taken control. So, and I might even make it a cantrip to simply cloud minds. It might be like a first level cantrip to just be like, I wish to make this person's mind a little bit clouded and confused, so they get kind of negatives on some of their stats, or you just make them angrier, same difference. So you can go back and forth on that. We'll work that out.
Okay.
Anyway, any other questions?
So would I have to cast a preliminary spell, mind contact?
No, because the moment you make contact with their mind, they know. And if it's if they're a disciplined individual, they'll know. Which means if they are a disciplined individual, you just help them put their guard up. Because not everyone has the ability to reach across to someone else's mind. That's actually a very niche, very specific kind of person. And depending on how disciplined they are, they could even zero you out of a crowd. They even might be able to pinpoint exactly where you are.
Oh, who's doing it?
Yeah, exactly, who's doing it. And as a wizard, you're squishy. Which you don't want to be. You don't want them zeroing in on you.
So maybe it's not even a good spell for me to have to focus on.
In order to have it, there is an ability called Insight, where with Insight, you can essentially gauge a person. You can, without ever touching their mind, you can use Insight to sort of judge how this person is. Are they a liar? Are they a thief? Are they a brigand? Or are they a highly disciplined pirate who would know the moment I touch their mind, so I should just try and cloud their judgment? Or are they so disciplined, I should probably not even try that, because that will just tick them off and help them zero in on where I am. And I'm squishy, and I don't want that. I'd rather the barbarian be up front and center with this, so I should focus on spells doing damage or whatever else. Insight is your key in this matter. If you're going to take Charm Person, you should have insights. And if you don't have high charisma, or it's wisdom. Yeah, I think that one's under wisdom. If you don't have high wisdom, you probably don't want to take Charm Person. Until if and when you either got a piece of gear that would supplement that, make that easier. In other words, that would increase your ability to have insights, that kind of thing. Yeah, and I will absolutely, because you didn't know about this particular rule with Charm Person, I would absolutely let you change that. And yes, my wife is one of my players.
Yeah.
Yeah. and she can testify to how hilarious it absolutely gets in some of our.
Yes, I laugh a lot.
Yeah, it's we've technically had 3 sessions, technically 2. I don't know. One session was just split over 2 days. You know, the ending of one day and the beginning of another before we split. Every single time we played D&D recently, it's been in a location that we didn't want to do it in, but we compromised, and we're all like packed into really tiny rooms around a table that's too small, and we're all just, we make it work because we all want to play. And I've been surprised, I have been absolutely surprised pleasantly by how much my players seem to like me, by how much they like. They're chill. These are kids, like the youngest one is 11, and then the other kid, the other 2 kids are 14. And I thought they were, it was around 8 o'clock at night. I figured they'd be winding down. They'd want to be finishing soon. And we were, we hadn't made much progress. And somebody else was pressuring us to try and end the game soon. And I turned to them like, hey, you guys want to end soon? And they were like, no. I got no's across the board. With each and every single one, my self-esteem was boosted. They were all having a fun time. And I felt so good from that. One of them started being a little bit miserable, the youngest one. But then I remembered a rule about sorcerers that I whipped up into something immediately and had him accidentally cast a spell into somebody else that was very entertaining. They got him to feel like he was participating again because he was the last. Every time he rolled, I swear this poor kid was cursed. Every time he rolled, he was the last in every fight, which made it really drag out for him. And then every time he rolled the dice, he missed. He missed every single time systematically to the point where I was shocked. And I was like, when it's Ben and Viva La Dirt League playing D&D and he's having a horrible time of it, he can process that. He can be like, I'll put on a smile for the audience. I'll fake it. I can do this. He's an adult. This kid has technology addiction through the roof, severe ADHD, depression, and several other issues that make it very difficult for him to play. I had to do something, and luckily it worked out because then he cast a spell on his brother that made his brother think that everyone was giant spiders around him, and it was hilarious. When his brother pops out, he sees everyone is giant spiders, and I have him do like a terror check to see if he manages to hold his wits about him, and he doesn't, and he runs, and it was hilarious. He thoroughly enjoyed that, and I asked him, since you know what you just did to your brother, do you want to tell everybody else? And at first he's like, yeah, and then he goes, no. Which I absolutely let him do, because it made him feel like he did something, and he's like, he was entertained, he was having fun, and that was what it was about. That was about him having fun, having a good time. And then at the end, I got to have the serious, somber moment that I really, really enjoy. I enjoy the funny moments like crazy. But the somber moments, they are what really give it life to me. Where you can take a moment with all the joy and joviality. You can have a serious moment. And you don't crack a joke to ruin it. Like, I'm not going to get into that. You just let that sink in. And everything has its place. And it was enjoyable. I freaking loved it. And apparently my players loved it too. They all want to continue playing. And yeah, I'm having a grand old time. Anyway, though, I'm thinking about those stories. If I could record those and upload them, I would love to do that. I think that would be great content for the channel. But even if I can't do that, even if I can't eventually find a camera that's good for that, because my GoPro, even on its lowest settings, will only record an hour of footage, even when I have it on its lowest settings. And that's just terrible to me. But one day I want to find a camera that would allow me to record it, and we could start recording sessions. But I'm hoping I can get one of my players to actually summarize each session, and you reward them with inspiration for that. I want to do that one day. See if I can get them to do that. But as of right now, I'm taking it one little step at a time, letting them all sort out the lore for their characters, get familiar with the game, and hey, maybe this is going to go somewhere. I would be so excited if I even got these guys to like level 10. That'd be amazing if I got them to level 10, because I've only ever reached level 10 as a D&D player once. One time. And that was a big deal. That was a really big deal. But anyway, everyone, for those who watched, this has been Aaron Delft, talking about where I want to take my channel, for the sake of my mental health and everything else. If anybody has any feedback, please leave it down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Y'all are absolutely awesome. Look forward to hearing from you then. If you enjoyed the live stream, please leave it a thumbs up, so hopefully we can please the algorithm, but we all know that's not actually possible, but maybe it will shun us less. And yeah. Anyway, I will see y'all in the next one. So don't y'all be getting into too much trouble, or hey, do. It's always up to you.